She was the most innocent beauty icon on American screens in the 1960s. At 82, Dawn Wells can't even afford to pay her medical bills. She lives a life without children, without a husband, and has kept a secret relationship for over 15 years. How could an actress known for her beauty, talent, and fashion sense fall into such a situation? How could the entertainment industry let one of its legends slowly fade away and die? In this video, we take a deep dive into the life of Dawn Wells and admire some rare photos of her. When Dawn Wells entered the entertainment industry, she was just a 23-year-old aspiring actress with eyes full of longing and dreams ready to take flight. Early in her career, she met Larry Rosen, a talented manager and client representative working at a prestigious entertainment company. They first encountered each other at a casting call in Los Angeles in 1962. Fate seemed to take hold the moment Dawn stepped out of the audition room. Larry, with his artistic soul and sharp eye, glanced her way, walked over, and offered a gentle, encouraging smile. In that brief exchange, something warm and sincere sparkled between them. Gradually, the two stepped into a sweet and tender relationship, gentle like the early steps of lovers cautiously intertwining. Dawn quickly found herself drawn to Larry's warm heart, his honesty, and his unwavering support. He was a man of strength, yet possessed the sensitivity of an artist, always listening, always sharing. They dated beneath the soft golden lights of Los Angeles, with Larry quietly holding her hand as they strolled down Hollywood Boulevard. Their love wasn't loud or flashy. It was like a quiet, wordless ballad that touched the deepest corners of Dawn's heart. Throughout their first year together, Dawn discovered the value of a simple, honest love filled with hope and dreams of building a future. Larry supported her wholeheartedly in her career. From auditions to filming, he became a steady anchor amidst the turbulence of the film industry. They shared dreams, laughed, cried, and pondered under the starlit Hollywood sky. Very quickly, Dawn realized she had fallen in love with a man who was genuine and who truly listened. In 1964, as her career began to rise, pressure started to build between them. Dawn took on the role of Mary Ann in Gilligan's Island, a breakthrough opportunity, but one that came with frequent flights, a grueling filming schedule, and the constant glare of the media. Though Larry loved her unconditionally, the growing distance began to take its toll. Their phone calls lost the laughter, replaced instead with busy schedules and prolonged separations. Work consumed Dawn's time, and she gradually began to feel she had to choose between love and career. By the end of 1967, after 5 years together, they chose to part ways, a gentle turning point filled with quiet regret. They remained friends and sincerely wished each other happiness, but they both understood. Distance isn't only measured in time, but in dreams, directions, and hopes slowly fading beneath the spotlight. Dawn moved forward into a chapter filled with solitude, allure, and the challenges of fame, while Larry quietly left the entertainment world, choosing the peaceful life he had always desired. Though it was only her first love, Larry left a tender imprint on Dawn's heart, a beautiful memory, a first song, and the moment she truly learned what it meant to love. From then on, she grew stronger, more independent, and would go on to find other loves. But that first love with Larry Rosen remained a soft echo, always reminding her that even if love doesn't stay, it leaves behind a spark that inspires forever. After leaving Hollywood in haste, Dawn Wells wasn't just alone. She made a conscious choice to follow her heart. Not a movie star, not a famous television icon, the man she loved more deeply than any fame was mentioned only briefly in her memoir by a simple name, Tom. He was a friend, a lover, and the one who made Dawn believe that true love didn't need to be flashy to be real. They met through charity events and theater performances in Nashville in the early 1970s. At the time, Tom was an executive director at a major television station. No one expected that, from those seemingly random encounters, a quiet relationship would unfold and last nearly 15 years. No noise, no headlines, no scandal. Just late-night conversations, knowing glances, and quiet visits shared between two people who understood each other. Dawn loved Tom the way people love after they've already known heartbreak, with calm, depth, and strength. She left Hollywood and chose to live near Nashville, not to escape fame, but to be near the one she loved, in her own way, without constraints. Tom had 2 grown daughters, and Dawn was the one who insisted on keeping a respectful distance. She never stayed overnight at his house, never stepped into his family's private life, for one reason only. To her, love was ultimately about respect. During all those years together, they didn't live under the same roof, yet remained essential to each other's lives. Dawn would book a hotel room whenever she visited, choosing to preserve her independence while not disrupting Tom's world. That kind of love didn't need a wedding or a title. It only needed presence, the right person, at the right time. In the end, they didn't part because the love faded, but because life pulled them in different directions. Tom grew more involved with his executive responsibilities, while Dawn returned to the stage and screen. Gradually, distance crept in, not out of blame, just the quiet unfolding of 2 separate paths. And when Dawn passed away in 2020, there were no children, no family at her side. But certainly, there was one man who had silently held her in his heart for 15 years. And there was one love she herself once said, "It doesn't need to be remembered. Just knowing I lived it with all my heart is enough." Dawn Wells was always known as a woman full of inner strength, but few people realize that beyond her deeply private romantic relationships, she also built incredibly strong and touching bonds with her colleagues, especially with the cast of Gilligan's Island, the show that turned her into a cultural icon of 1960s America. Even after her romance with Tom drifted away like smoke at the end of the day, Dawn preserved a small, warm world for herself, one where her fellow castmates were not just co-stars, but soul companions in real life. Among them, the one Dawn always mentioned with a soft, affectionate voice was Bob Denver, the actor who played Gilligan. They had natural chemistry on screen, but shared an almost wordless friendship off-camera. At one point, the media even speculated about a romantic connection between them, but both always kept their relationship within the delicate line between close friendship and something more. Dawn once said that Bob was the person who made her laugh the most, and the one who could sense her sadness without needing to ask. Another special connection in Dawn's life was with Russell Johnson, who played the Professor. If Bob was the lightness and joy, Russell was the emotional anchor. They frequently exchanged letters and shared deep reflections on life, art, and even philosophy. On some nights after filming, they would sit quietly side by side, saying nothing, simply feeling the comfort of knowing someone was truly listening in a chaotic world. Russell once described Dawn as a strange mix of innocence and wisdom, a woman who earned respect, but was also easily touched by sincerity. Although Gilligan's Island lasted only a few seasons, the bond between Dawn and her castmates endured for a lifetime. She was the one who often organized reunions for the old cast, kept in touch through handwritten letters and phone calls, and even once drove hundreds of miles by herself just to visit a former co-star who had fallen ill. It wasn't for fame, it wasn't for nostalgia. but for one simple reason. They were the family she chose. After Gilligan's Island ended in 1967, many believed Dawn Wells's career would quickly fade, just like so many other TV stars who were typecast in a single iconic role. But Dawn didn't choose to retreat in silence. On the contrary, she stepped into a new chapter, not loud, not seeking the spotlight, but steady, grounded, and full of faith in true artistic value. Instead of chasing big roles in Hollywood, Dawn took a different path. She returned to the stage, where emotions could be expressed directly to the audience. She founded her own production company, wrote scripts, directed, and toured across the United States with hundreds of different plays. It wasn't a path paved with red carpets, but it was a road built on pure passion. Many were surprised to see the once famous Mary Ann performing in small theaters in Texas or New Mexico. But to Dawn, even a room with a few dozen people was a stage where she could truly be herself. Beyond the arts, Dawn dedicated much of her later years to charity and education. She funded scholarships for performing arts students, regularly taught, and shared her experiences at small colleges. No cameras, no red carpets, but in those moments, she found a deeper meaning than any round of applause could offer. What set Dawn Wells apart was her unwavering commitment. While many of her peers chose quiet retirements or clung to past fame, she chose to slow down, do good, and quietly inspire. Though she had no children of her own, many young people saw her as a spiritual mother, not just because of her role as Mary Ann, but because of who Dawn Wells truly was: kind, humble, and resilient. And perhaps that life, free of noise, scandal, but full of depth and compassion, is Dawn's true legacy. A life not only marked by a memorable role, but by the people she touched, the hearts she helped heal, with a gentle presence that never needed to be loud, and a love that never needed to be named. Dawn Wells lived a life unlike any other. She didn't need scandals to be remembered, nor fame to prove her worth. She left a mark not only through Mary Ann's gentle smile, but also through her warm heart, unwavering dedication to her craft, and genuine affection for every person who crossed her path. In a fast-changing, forgetful world of showbiz, Dawn stood as living proof that kindness, perseverance, and quiet love can echo far longer than the brightest spotlight. So what is it that makes you remember Dawn Wells most? A role, a quiet love story, or perhaps her calm yet unyielding spirit? Leave a comment below to share your thoughts and memories about this remarkable woman. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to continue exploring the behind-the-scenes stories and untold truths of timeless icons, because there's still so much more waiting to be revealed.